away.
Is Mason Rudolph, and he finds his man down to the goal line. Touchdown, Pittsburgh, from 21 yards out. James Conner pulled that ball in.
Get on the mic, get on the mic. Talk loud on the mic. Hey, got a long game.
Big rush. Throws it down the field, a man wide open, and it's pulled in by Deontay Johnson. And the Steelers are having fun playing football.
We're still working towards taking some more shots, and that's on me, and it's what I'm comfortable with, and we're still kind of moving towards that. Only week 2 of me and Randy kind of being together, so we'll continue to try to threaten teams, vertically.
AFC North football is huge. We just want to be in the mix, and right now we are.
Pittsburgh got its first win of the season last night on Monday Night Football, and the way that the AFC North is bunched up right now, the Steelers are only 1 game back, sitting at 1-3 after the first quarter here. Shaun, you take a look at the middle, so you see the loss, and then last night's win. Take a look at the middle of the schedule here. Is there a possibility of a Pittsburgh run?
Yeah, I think there is, especially when you look at how well their defense has been playing. I mean, look, both the Seattle and 49ers game were close games. I think this is a tough straw right here. The Baltimore Ravens fuming mad after that loss to the Cleveland Browns. Their defense, I think, is going to be hyped up. So I think the Steelers end up getting a loss right there. I don't think they have enough offensive firepower to keep up with Lamar Jackson. But now you go on the road against the Chargers. This defense, I talked about getting after the quarterback, 13 sacks in the last 3 games, 26 quarterback hits, both top 5. So I think they can get a win on the road right there. That's Sunday night football.
Sunday Night Football, yeah.
Now they got a bye week. Right, and then Monday Night Football against the Dolphins. I don't think they need that extra preparation, but sure, they'll take it. I think they get a win there. And then I think this defense against the Colts, I think that could be tough for Jacoby Brissett. So they could rattle off 3 wins right there. Okay. And I'll bring this Rams game in too, because this is a 3-game home stretch right here, okay? If the Pittsburgh Steelers want to get back in this race, and if they want to be a force to be reckoned with in this division, they've got to get these 3, and they've got to find a way to squeak this one out. Now, this is going to be tough. I don't think they're going to get that because I think the Rams offense, they're going to figure that out. But that 3-game home stretch right there, that is going to be huge for the Steelers to get back in the mix.
So you said Monday Night Football there. That one's a Monday Night Football game as well. And when we see, that one's Thursday night. This one's Monday at home. We've seen what Pittsburgh at home on Monday night. 17 straight wins. And Mike Tomlin 14-2 on Monday Night Football, home or away.
Brutal start to the season. Still just 1 game back in the AFC North, those Pittsburgh Steelers. Trailing the Browns and Ravens, the former of which has the divisional tiebreaker at the moment, coming off their head-to-head win over Baltimore. Easily their best game of the season so far. D. Hall, how do they keep it up?
They have to run the football. We obviously know that they got to play good defense. Myles Garrett, I think he's putting a lot of people on notice saying that, hey, he's an elite pass rusher. But this offense is what gets guys packed into that stadium. And so for me, it's not just about OBJ. You got to use the other guys. You got to give the ball to guys like Nick Chubb. You got to get the ball to guys like Jarvis Landry. Callaway's coming back. He was a vital part of their offense last year. And so they have a ton of weapons. But for me, you have to protect Baker. And so Freddie Kitchens, give the ball to the other guys on the team. Don't try to force feed a guy like OBJ, because everybody, when we go in there to game plan, we all know where OBJ is on every single play, and we're trying to stop him. And so you have to let the other guys make plays for this Cleveland Browns team for them to continue to keep moving forward.
That 88-yard run by Chubb, which you saw there in the video, and you referenced the longest in the NFL this year. It was also the fastest. The Browns running back flying on the play, just under 22 miles per hour. That's the fastest anyone's been on a touchdown this season. And he wasn't the only one hoofing it. How about Baker Mayfield running downfield to celebrate with him? Reached his top speed this season as well, just under 18 miles per hour. A lot of issues for the Ravens defense on that play and in the game in general. Frankly, in the last 2 weeks, these last couple of games have been brutal for them on that side of the ball. They're last in the league in points allowed in the last 2 weeks, yards allowed, yards per carry, yards per play, rushing touchdowns. It has been brutal. Of course, they've played 2 very good teams in the last 2 games, but still, how do they turn it around?
But it doesn't look like Ravens' style of defense, right? You saw that play of Nick Chubb running 88 yards, and chasing him is Earl Thomas, an all-pro safety. And now Earl and another player on his team, the D tackle Brandon Williams, they got into it a little bit because he felt like, hey, Earl, we need to see a little bit more effort from you. What's Earl's response? Hey, in pregame warmups, you didn't even play in the game. And so it's that, to me, is that mindset. This defense has been known to be dominant, and they have to get back to that. And to me, it's just a mindset. Guys have to lay out and put it all on the line for each other. And that's what you aren't seeing with this Ravens defense that you've seen year after year after year. And you can't let a guy like C.J. Mosley out of that building, Zadarius Smith out of that building, and think you're going to be a better defense. Even Eric Weddle, he was the glue to that team. And so, I love Earl, and I think he's a dynamic player, but the guy has a point. You got to sell out. Everybody on this football team, for us to be what we need to be defensively, we all got to sell out and make every single play. And that was just one example that, to me, is not about the scheme. Can these guys do it? I know they can do it. They just need to go out there and execute.
And in the meantime, it's a totally different ballgame for Lamar Jackson when your defense is giving up that many points.
Yes.
No Ravens on the list of FedEx Aaron Brown nominees this week, but there are a couple of Browns players, including Baker Mayfield, who joins Jameis Winston and Phillip Rivers as the quarterback nominees. As for the running backs, we've got Leonard Fournette, who went for over 200 yards on the ground. Also, Nick Chubb, who we have discussed, and Frank Gore. Those are your running back options. All of them averaged more than 6 yards a carry on the day. You've got until 3 o'clock Eastern on Thursday to vote at NFL.com/FedEx, and we will reveal the winner on Total Access after Thursday Night Football. Coming up next, we've got some good news for a couple of NFC East teams. No, not you, Washington. Why a winning start.
We felt like last year we could have won those two games, really, to be honest with you. We had some mishaps there at the end, and they can't happen when you're playing a great team.
Big challenge again. Got a elite quarterback that I think he's leading the league in pass percentage, like 77% or something. I mean, he's Russell Wilson. Makes plays. We know that. We played against him a lot, and he's an elite quarterback.
Those Rams coming off a tough loss on Sunday against the Bucs, and Steve Wyche has more on what might come of that. First, though, Omar Ruiz is with the Seahawks in Renton, whereas Wade Phillips just pointed out, Russell Wilson is having a somewhat quiet, very good year.
According to Pete Carroll, it's the best start ever for Russell Wilson. The numbers certainly back it up. He heard Wade Phillips say Wilson is on pace for the second highest completion percentage in NFL history. He's putting up more yards than ever, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, has the highest passer rating of any quarterback in the league, not named Patrick Mahomes. And as good as all of that has been, his leadership as important as ever. After Chris Carson struggled, fumbling in each of the first 3 games of the season, Wilson reminded him last week that even the great Walter Payton had fumble issues early in his career. Carson responded by having the best game of his season, 145 total yards, including 104 on the ground. Wilson also saying he spent a little extra time with tight end Will Dissly. Dissly, of course, was returning to Arizona, where he suffered a season-ending knee injury the year before. Dissly responded by having a career-high 7 catches. So the relentless positivity we've always seen from Wilson certainly having a tangible effect during this first quarter of the season.
Well, Omar, yes, we know Russell Wilson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but probably his biggest nemesis in the league is Rams defensive tackle Aaron Donald, now the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Just 10 tackles and 1 sack so far this season. But last year in 2 games, both Rams victories, he sacked Wilson 3.5 times, hurried him 6 times, and in his career, there is not a quarterback that Aaron Donald has sacked more than Russell Wilson. 10.5 times. Now, defensive coordinator Wade Phillips said that it's Donald's speed, the ability to get through double teams, get to Wilson, and tackle him in the open field. That is one of his greatest strengths. Now, on the opposite side of the ball, Rams running back Todd Gurley, a lot of conversation with him just getting 5 carries in Sunday's loss to Tampa Bay. Nobody, including Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll, is expecting that few of touches. But look at another stat line. Gurley was targeted 11 times in the passing game, with the Rams falling behind 21-0 early. Sean McVay said he threw it to try to get Gurley involved, but the thinking here is that they will be much more committed to the run game. Lindsay?
More Gurley music to the ears of a lot of football fans, Steve, including one of the guys that's sitting with Scott right now.
Yeah, these guys would be Shaun O'Hara, D'Angelo Hall. Let's chop this up on a Thursday night football action. You just heard Steve White say that Sean McVay says he needs to be more dedicated to the run. You're +1 on that.
Absolutely. Sean has to protect Jared Goff. And by protecting Jared Goff, you can't let him sit there and drop back 68 times in a football game. That's a lot. And so you have to run the football, especially when you have a dynamic